These are the 6 best exercises to build wider biceps. All right, when it comes to arms, man, everyone likes looking at the biceps. The triceps make up most of the mass, but the biceps, that's the pretty muscle, man. That's that little ball right here that stands out and grabs attention. So here's the thing. To focus on getting wider biceps, the goal actually is to work the brachialis muscle, which is just beneath this big ball here, right in this section, right in between that tricep and that bicep. Most of these exercises that we're about to go through are designed to really target the brachialis muscle. All right, so just keep that in mind when you're listening to all of these exercises. Now, my goal with this video is to get through it quickly because we have 6 exercises to cover. I don't want to bore you with too much talking, man. I love educating and breaking everything down, but for the purpose of this, we're gonna get through the exercises quickly. 2 quick points though. To build bigger arms, you wanna work them more often. So instead of working them once a week, try doing it twice a week, 2 or 3 days in between each workout. That's going to be crucial. Also, focus on progressive overload, meaning make sure you're doing either more repetitions or more weight at least every other week. Just make improvements, give your body a reason to build more muscle. With that said, exercise number 1, man, hammer curls, old school hammer curls. Now you can do these one of 2 ways. You'll see the alternating, one side at a time. You can do the alternating, or you can just make sure your core is locked in and you're doing these together, both arms at a time, both completely fine. Now, the thing you really need to focus on when you're doing this exercise and all the other ones we're about to cover, control the movement though. You wanna make sure you're doing each repetition under control. So really focus on making sure the biceps is doing all of the lifting, squeeze really hard for a good second or 2, really hard squeeze at the top, and then lower under control. I like shooting for about a 3-second cadence with each repetition. So doing that's gonna make a massive difference. Now the goal with each of these, anywhere between 8 to 15 repetitions. It just depends on where you're at in your fitness journey and your fitness level. But that's exercise number 1. All right, number 2, we're gonna be doing cross-body curls. Now, cross-body curls, I really like doing these by going across the midline of their body. You're also gonna be focusing on that short head of the bicep. Again, the ball, that really cool shape that we're looking for. So this is gonna help target that short head, and you're also gonna continue to work the brachialis. So that's another key theme you're gonna notice with each of these exercises. Same thing, control each side. These are done obviously in an alternating fashion. So one side, really get that pinky rotated over as hard as you can to get a full peak contraction at the top. Hold that contraction and then slowly lower under control. Same thing with this exercise. All right, now the third one may kind of throw you off a little bit. This is typically what you see people doing when they're working their lats or their back. However, keep in mind, anytime you're doing a pull-up, any variation of a pull-up, although you're working your lats, your back muscles primarily, you're also working your biceps, man. Now, the cool thing about doing this reverse grip lat pull down is going to allow you to really overload the biceps. You can pull a whole lot more weight from this movement pattern. So that's gonna allow you to really overload it and get a good stretch in those biceps. So just make sure when you're doing this exercise, you'll notice the thing I'm trying to do at the bottom. I'm not bringing my elbows all the way down and behind me like I would if I were really targeting my lats. I'm actually trying to get my forearms to overlap my biceps, trying to get those to touch and just get those elbows right down in front of your body, slightly to your side, and focus on contracting the biceps at the bottom. So hold that contraction, and then again, you're gonna make sure when you're going back towards the top that you're doing that under control. That's the eccentric phase of this movement. Again, focus on control. That's a common theme. Now, this next exercise is the Zottman curl. I did throw this in here for a couple different reasons because again, we are talking about developing the arms and making them wider. So the thing with the Zottman curl is you are gonna be able to do a natural curl, but as you rotate or pronate your wrist to go back down, not only are you gonna be working on that brachialis muscle, but the brachioradialis muscle. Again, with the Zottman curl, once you get back to the bottom in that pronated position, then you're gonna rotate or slightly supinate your arms as you go back up. This is really gonna help you widen that, not only because of that rotation that you're adding, but again, you are focusing on that brachialis muscle. So now for the next one, we're gonna add a cable version of the hammer curl. The reason I like the cables with these hammer curls is because it adds constant tension to your biceps. Because we do have that hammer grip position or neutral grip, anytime your palms are facing each other, that is considered a hammer grip position, the neutral position. So that's what you wanna do to really focus on targeting that brachialis. So that's what we're doing with this cable curl, but we're switching to the cables to allow for more constant tension. Now, one key point I wanna make out when we're doing this, you wanna keep your elbows in a fixed position, meaning every time the weight is coming back up, when you're pulling that weight up, you don't wanna push your forearms forward. Don't drive the forearms forward or the elbows forward. You wanna make sure they're pinned to your sides. Really focus on strict form with this exercise and control the movement. Don't allow the movement to control you. Don't allow the weight to overpower you. Really control this entire movement when you're doing this. All right, the last exercise, once again, is gonna be a hammer grip position or a neutral hand grip position, but this time we're doing it in a preacher curl position. So when you're doing a preacher curl, you're actually getting your elbows out in front of your body. And by being in this preacher position, you're going to lock in that position. So you're removing all momentum with this exercise. So this one is key when you're really trying to hone in on that form and allow the bicep to do all the work and not cheat the movement by bouncing the movement or by using any momentum at all. All right, but same thing with that neutral hand grip or the hammer position. This is going to allow you to not only work your biceps, but really hone in on the brachialis. So that's going to be key with this exercise. All of these exercises, common theme, focusing on a neutral hand grip. It's gonna really allow you to focus on widening the biceps, man, because not only are you working the typical bicep that you would with all curls, but we're gonna really focus on that brachialis muscle right beneath it. And that's going to give you that wider appearance, especially when you dial in these other things we talked about early on. Focus on adding more frequency, focus on that progressive overload. You do those consistently by adding these exercises here, and you're gonna get a lot wider biceps, much wider arms. So there you have it, man, my top 6 exercises for widening your biceps. Get busy and add these to your current routines. You're gonna get phenomenal growth. As always, thanks for watching, man. Get busy, get after it, and God bless.